Have you ever truly imagined the impossible? What if it rained on Earth? Not for a day, not for a month, but for 2 million years without stopping. An eternal downpour that would last longer than all of human civilization. This is the question geology poses. It is the story of an era when Earth experienced the wettest and strangest episode in its history, a period known as the Carnian pluvial event. And the question is not just how, but what happens to a planet forced to soak in water for 2 million years? The answer is destruction, and ironically, birth. This is the story of the baptism of the dinosaurs. We have to go back to the late Triassic era, about 234 million years ago. Forget 7 continents. Back then, Earth had only one thirsty supercontinent, a giant landmass called Pangaea. Pangaea was a perpetual desert. Much of the continent's interior was far from the ocean. The climate was extreme, searing heat during the day, piercing cold at night. Life there was extremely difficult. The animals that ruled the roost were ancient reptiles adapted to the drought, such as the enormous crocodile-like Rauisuchians, and a few proto-mammals that burrowed beneath the sand. What about dinosaurs? They existed, but they were small, marginalized, and lived in the shadows. They were creatures that struggled in the cooler corners of Pangaea. No one dominated. All life obeyed a single rule. Drought was king. Then the Earth turned against itself. Far to the northwest of Pangaea, in what we now know as North America and Canada, specifically Wrangellia, tectonic plates began to tear apart. This is when the epic vast volcanism occurred. Not one volcano, but hundreds of cracks in the Earth's crust spewed lava continuously for hundreds of thousands of years. Imagine the lava that erupted covered an area 1/3 the size of the United States. Emissions from these relentless eruptions choked the atmosphere. Millions of tons of greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide and sulfur, were released. The planet began to boil, creating an intense greenhouse effect, warming the atmosphere globally. The oceans began evaporating at an unprecedented rate, and all that water vapor had nowhere else to go but back to Earth. And the rain began. The rain wasn't just heavy, it was constant. In the once arid deserts of Pangaea, thick clouds obscured the sun, temperatures became more stable, hot and humid, and sand turned to mud. The rain wasn't just drenching, it was dissolving the landscape. Over the course of 2 million years, dried-up rivers rose into giant bodies, carving new canyons. Enormous lakes emerged in the continental interiors. Geological evidence across the globe, from Europe to Asia, shows thick deposits of rock, all of the same age, all created by water. Ecological disaster soon followed. Desert-dwelling reptiles, which relied on drought for hunting and reproduction, could not survive. In the oceans, changes in seawater chemistry caused by rainwater. Runoff triggered a mass extinction of marine life, particularly ammonoids. This was one of 5 major extinction events caused by unrelenting water. Herein lies the irony. Rain that is deadly to one life form is nourishing to another. Amidst the water chaos, new plants that couldn't grow in the desert began to thrive. Modern coniferous forests, strong and resilient, began to cover the land. And most importantly, dinosaurs. Their more efficient lung and body structures allowed them to better adapt to the changing climate and the resulting oxygen shortages. They possessed an adaptive advantage that the previously dominant giant reptiles lacked. After 2 million years, when the atmosphere finally cleared of volcanic gases and the rain subsided, the world that emerged was entirely new. The once powerful Rauisuchians were gone. An ecological niche was wide open, and among the nascent green forests, the once small dinosaurs proliferated rapidly. This perpetual rain event was a deadly baptism that officially began their 150 million year reign. The story of this 2 million year reign teaches us that climate change does not always mean the end, but is often a catalyst. It is a geological sledgehammer that destroys the old order to create a new one. That's how nature works. An unimaginable disaster for one species is a golden opportunity for the next. The next time you see rain falling, remember that in the distant past, it was once the only law of our planet, a lasting reminder of Earth's infinite power and the irony of destruction giving birth to life.